You know what it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nieces, nephews, cousins, aunties, aunties. Aunties, or aunties and uncles. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the world's most dangerous podcast.
Dope Dealers Podcast.
You know what it is. Episode 82 is your man Jamal Doman at Jamal Doman.
Tobe Hixx at Tobe Hixx, Tobehixx.
I said aunties and aunties?
Yeah, it only took you 3 seconds to fuck up this week.
Hey, y'all know I fuck up every week. Y'all know how it is.
Normally it take a little longer, though. You got right into a fuck up.
Yes.
Like thanks to the troops, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard, the Bloods, the Crips, and the Essays.
Yes, it's going down, man. We got a great show, episode 82, man. We appreciate everybody just listening, and this is part 2. We got the sequel.
Yeah.
We bring our brother is back.
By popular demand.
By popular demand. Because if you remember part 1, we said he got more to say. So we're going to bring him in just in a couple minutes, but y'all know the OG Evan Lionel is in the house, man, and is I Want to See My Kids part 2. He's got a lot more stuff to tell you, man. We just gonna talk about some of the stuff. Like a lot of people sent us messages about your first episode. I'm gonna read some of them to you. Just get get your opinion on some of that stuff, because a lot of brothers felt you on that. Even women felt you.
Yeah.
But we gonna bring you in a quick second. Tobe, listen. Please leave a review for us on iTunes. That's very, very important. Go to iTunes and leave a review. Subscribe to us, rate us, and leave a review. Dope Independent Music. That is my cousin again. Oh, my relative. I forgot I can't say cousin around, the blood over here.
Oh, shit.
That's my relative.
Yeah, your relative. There you go.
Mike Brazy out of North Philly. That's No Lacking. We played some of his music. That's his new single, man. That's his new.
I like that one.
Yeah, he just dropped that. I think that's going to be the one that makes some noise for him, man. So shout out to my relative, Mike Brazy out of North Philly, doing his thing. Tobe Hixx, what's up? You good, man?
Man, I'm over here just bicking back booling. It was a great week. It was a great week. Shout out to Romerick Anderson, everybody that came out to Chirps Cocktails in Fontana. Had a great time out there last Thursday. And thanks to Felipe and Esparza and everyone that came out to the Antelope Valley Comedy Festival at the Lancaster Performing Arts Center this Saturday. We had a great time. Shout out to Barry and Christine Neal for having us. It was awesome, man.
Oh, definitely, man. Shout out to everybody at the Comedy Union. I was there on Saturday. Shout out to everybody over there. It was a great show, man.
How was it, man?
It was good.
You enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, I enjoyed myself, man. Y'all haven't did it in the Union in a while. Shout out to Enns Mitchell. He's still over there putting it down. And Royale Watkins was on the show. I haven't seen him in a while, man. So it's good to see him and some of the young cats, man. I can't remember their name, but there's so many new young cats in the game doing their thing. So shout out to everybody who came out for the Comedy Union. It's going down. Thank you to everybody listening to our episode last week, the NFL season preview show. Shout out to everybody. Even we got some. One of our homies, one of our what is his name? Drew, one of our listeners, man. He's always gives us a hard time, but we appreciate everybody for listening, man. And shout out to the NFL season. And Tobe,
it was a great week.
Shout out to the Raiders, man.
Yeah,
I was happy for them.
Yeah, we put in some work. I'm glad we got one victory, because, boy, we got some tough ones coming up. I don't know when the next time
I'm happy for the Raiders, man. I think a lot of people were happy that they won because all the shit they've been through.
Yeah, that was crazy how they was yelling out, fuck AB.
That damn Antonio Brown. He's still up to some shit. Listen, man, ladies and gentlemen, you don't know. Leave them Browns alone. You haven't learned your lesson. Them Browns, come on, man. It started with James Brown, the godfather of soul. He had hits, and then he had other hits. Ask some of his ex-wives. And then Jim Brown, the greatest football player of all time. He threw a bitch off the balcony. You know that. That's a true story. He threw a bitch off the balcony.
Yeah,
Bobby Brown, we ain't got to, come on, man. Them Browns, Bobby Brown, we ain't got to go into it. You seen the movie. Chris Brown. He another nigga got hits and then other hits. We ain't got to go into it. You know what I mean? Listen, Foxy Brown done lost her goddamn mind, man. Come on, Nino Brown from New Jack City. Leave them fucking Browns alone, man.
Yeah, man.
Kwame Brown. Come on, man. The worst number one draft pick in NBA history.
Couldn't catch shit.
Come on, man. Even TV shows, Meet the Browns. Meet the Browns was whack. Come on, man. Leave them fucking Browns alone if you haven't learned your lesson, man.
Hilarious.
So Antonio Brown, that's all his relatives, man. Leave them alone, man. It's going down,
I
man.
hope he didn't rape that woman. Boy.
Yeah. That's if we'll talk about that more. Listen,
later.
but how you get raped 3 times? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Would sound like some bullshit to me. How you
And you at the strip club
come on,
with
you
a
get-
nigga?
you get
admit
raped
that you
3
at the strip club with him?
You get raped 3 times? Like that don't make sense, man.
Question is, why do everybody believe everything
Ex-
women say?
Exactly.
Why is women always telling the truth?
Exactly.
Fuck out of here.
You
shit.
we seen the Brian Banks movie, all that. Come on, man.
Yeah, that was horrific.
But we gonna get right into it, man. Cause my brother, you already heard him right here, man. He's back for part 2. It's Tobe Hixx's I Just Want to See My Kids part 2. Let me bring him right in. He's an award-winning actor, comedian, stage, film, television, HBO, BET, Stars, NBC. I mean, this brother's done 1,000 movies, TV shows with Oprah Winfrey, Robert De Niro, Bill Murray, Uma Thurman, Stephen Williams, OG Stephen Williams, Bernie Mac, and many more. He has the #1 comedy CD on Uproar Entertainment label. Too real for you. Dope Dealer Podcast. He's back. Put your hands together for Evan Lionel.
What's up, y'all?
Shit.
Yeah, in the house.
Yeah,
The young homies.
We ain't got the bell, huh?
No, we ain't got man. I
Tobe
keep
and Jamal, the young
Yeah.
homies.
Man,
What's up, man?
Backed by popular demand, man. People couldn't believe the story, man.
Man,
they wanted
they
to hear
just-
more.
Man, they just heard the first part of the story.
Yeah.
But let me say this before we even get into it, y'all. If my children are listening, if they find some way to hear this podcast, know that your father has never abandoned you.
absolutely.
Your father is right here. Your father loves you. That's why I'm speaking out to the world, to let the world know that every black man is not, hating being a father. There are some of us, like Jamal, right next to me, got a baby, proud of the baby.
Yes, absolutely.
We are proud to be fathers. We love our children. It's just the system and the women tend to work against us to actually hold power over us. They use the children as weapons against us.
Absolutely.
Preach.
And if you didn't listen to it was episode 77. Evan
Yep,
Lionel was
77.
on episode 77. It was called I Just Want to See My Kids, and we'll get all into it. But if you didn't, go back and listen to that episode. Also, if you didn't listen to that, but Evan has not seen his kids in 5 years.
Almost 6 years.
6 years.
My middle child, she is going to be 13 years old on the 18th of September. Tobe, you got daughters, right?
They 17 and 19. Yeah, let's recap the 3 kids. Tell everybody, recap their ages, give them that picture.
I have a beautiful 11-year-old. I have a beautiful 12, about to turn 13-year-old, and then I have a son who is 16. He'll be 17 next year. They have not seen their father purely because the mother was mad that I asked for a divorce.
Yes.
And her way to punish me was to say, if you want to divorce me, you will never see your kids again, and I'm going to destroy you. And, of course, when a woman tells you that, you be like, fuck out of here. You ain't destroying nothing. And then they go find a crooked lawyer because there are gangs of them out there, gangs of crooked lawyers that will help these women in their vindictive ways to destroy you, get you prison time, do whatever they can to vilify you. I have a petition online to stop corruption and corrupt attorneys in family court. Evan Lionel on change.org. Evan Lionel to stop corruption in family court on change.org. Disbar any corrupt attorney. If they're not following the law, they need to be disbarred. If we got to follow the law, do we have to follow the law?
Absolutely.
I went to the dispensary to get some medicine, and they told me I couldn't come in because my ID was expired.
Oh, well, you know what, though? Like I said, from somebody who lives at the dispensaries and been fucking with them ever since they came out. Like I said, I understand you just happen to go to one that's going by the rules. Because some of these motherfuckers, you ain't got to have no ID. You ain't got to have shit. They don't give a fuck how old you are. They doing that shit like it's a dope spot. But that's just one that's trying to be official. Because if the feds do decide to come up in there, they was going to check everybody's shit. And they, they didn't want to get violated, get a little ticket or whatever.
So you're going to have to show me where the one is so that I can get my medicine for anxiety, you're gonna have to show me where the one is lenient. But I'll take that information off the air.
How about hey, well,
Off the air, I take that.
nigga, you gotta renew your license. That's the easiest motherfucking way. This nigga,
Absolutely.
hey, that's some real nigga shit. We always try to go around shit. This nigga
Get a
didn't even think
hookup.
about his license no more. He's like, nigga, just show me where you ain't gotta have no ID.
Exactly. Well, I just got back in from New York. They didn't stop me at the airport. I didn't know my
Yeah, yeah.
license was expired. You know how your birthday come up
Yeah.
and then it expires on your birthday, but you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
So the weed spot let me know.
Yeah.
The dispensary.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Hey, so I want to read. I want to read a message that we got. One of our listeners who listen to you. He said. So this is his
Episode
name is
77.
Episode 77. Username EpicAll22. He said, "What's up, fellas? I just heard episode 77. I went through the whole child support thing about 5 years ago. It is a very one-sided battle. As of now, I have them daily and every other weekend. What hit home is how important it is to surround yourself around positive people. You get to a point where you start doubting yourself. I do remember days where I didn't want to talk to anybody. The first weekend I didn't have them. I broke down, went from having them every single day to a new schedule overnight. It's important for men to stick together and make sure our friends going through this know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Tobe, you hit the hammer on the head when you said people don't understand how hard it is not having your kids. Thanks for the episode, fellas."
Well, let me address that. People don't understand the pain that fathers go through. They act as if we don't love our children as much as their mothers love them. And some of us love them even more. I was my children's primary caretaker. It wasn't my wife. I actually took care of them every day, and they are all gifted students in school as a result of being with their father. As a matter of fact, Oprah is famous because she left her mother's house and went to live with her father, and her father gave her discipline. She talks about it all the time.
Right.
Fathers bring discipline into the home. Not a dig against mothers. It's like God gave us both entities, the male and the female counterpart. That's what the yin and the yang is all about. You cannot do it by yourself, ladies. If that's what you're thinking, that's why the black community is in uproar, because there are no strong male figures in the community. And if there is, it's one or two. And my situation is different because my kids were born in Beverly Hills and they lived well. It's just the mother decided I'm gonna destroy him. And so I didn't tell y'all the second half of destroying me.
That's what we're here for.
I told y'all the police came in and gunned up, ready to kill me, arrested me, tried to take me out of my house in my drawers for nothing. I hadn't done anything wrong. So the second part of this, I get to court, right? And family court, as I said before, is unregulated. I get to court, that's when the games began. They get restraining orders against you in order to get control, not just over custody, Toby, not just over custody, Jamal, but also they want to get control over your assets when you're married.
Right.
And so I had a house. You had a house. A nice house in Chatsworth, big house, and I couldn't go back to it. I haven't been back to I lost that house. Wow. They would not allow me to go back to it based on restraining order. In that restraining order that was created from family court. No criminal history, no criminal record, no criminal nothing. Hadn't done anything. Just family court put a restraining order on me and stopped me from going to my property. So here's what happened. She abandoned the property, right? After living there for 2 years, she didn't want to pay the mortgage. It was $3,600. So they let her live there for 2 years straight without paying mortgage and wouldn't tell me, and I'm the owner of the house. Nobody from the bank called me, nothing. Then I finally get a letter.
How's that happen? Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you, I get a letter saying we're foreclosing on you, right? You need to pay, I think at the time they said you need to pay $36,000. I said, couldn't you motherfuckers have told me on $3,000, $3,600?
Exactly.
They literally let her live there for 2 years without paying the mortgage. And so then they want me to come up with $36,000. I said, why didn't y'all call me ahead of time? They said she took my name off the contact info. And I said, how could she do that? They said, she's your wife. The
Well,
moment
how'd they get their number now then?
I don't know. That's something
Well,
you need to call Wells
listen,
Fargo and ask.
Well, when it's
their-
36,000, they're gonna
Yeah.
find somebody to talk to.
What
Yeah.
you say, Jamal? Somebody.
Somebody
saying
got
it.
to talk.
So I tried to save the house, right? I
Mm-hmm.
hired an attorney, and I tried to stop the house from being sold in foreclosure. When I went to the house, she had trashed the whole house, tore all the light fixtures out, all the
What?
mirrors down, kicked holes in the walls, tore the doors off. Like she literally tore my house up. I'm being real with y'all.
Damn.
And so I'm in there cleaning it up and fixing it up, and I hear the sirens again. The cavalcade. I go, man, somebody must have did something. This ain't that type of neighborhood where you hear
Yeah.
sirens. It's
Mhm.
white folks, all
Yeah.
white, and me.
Mhm.
So I'm in the house. Next thing I know, you know how when you hear them coming and then it get quiet?
Get closer.
You
Yeah.
know exactly.
Yeah,
Oh, Toby, you know about
Yeah, shit, I know.
Toby done had that a few times.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
Yeah,
I hadn't had that, Toby.
Mhm.
So these motherfuckers smash up on the house, guns drawn again. She had a neighbor call her when I was there fixing up my house and told the police I was burglarizing a home. Remember, this is a white neighborhood. They came with guns drawn, ready to shoot and kill me.
Right.
Next
In your
thing-
own house
in my
again.
own house. So now I'm handcuffed outside my garage on the ground, face down, with guns on me. I tell them, go look in my glove compartment. I have the deed in there. You'll see my name on it. Reach in my pocket, get my ID out. You'll see I'm Evan Lionel and my name is on the deed. I said, call your supervising officer to the scene because y'all out of line for how y'all doing me
Yeah.
out here.
Mhm.
And of course, all the white folks, oh, he's up to something. He's a criminal. They don't even know I'm an entertainer.
Right. Mhm.
Wow.
So then the supervising officer comes and he says to me, this happened to me. That's what this guy said.
The police
The
said that?
police, the supervising officer said this happened to me. He said, this ain't a new game, Evan. Let me explain. He said, take the cuffs off of him. Stand up. He said, the officer told me, he said, I had a house. My ex-wife moved out of it. He said he moved in and started fixing it up, put 30 grand into it, went away on vacation for a weekend, came back. She was back living in the house again, and
Oh,
he couldn't do
shit.
shit.
Man.
So he had to leave because she had a restraining order.
The police?
He had to leave his house
Was
again.
this a black cop?
A white cop.
Oh, damn, they get a
Irish.
white man like this?
Irish dude, he said, Evan, they took my gun, and I had to work a desk because she had that bullshit family court restraining order. I said, well, what'd you do? You just fixed your house up. He said he had to pay a lawyer another 30 grand to get her out of the house.
Shit.
And then he came and testified because I didn't know. He told me my ex-wife was coming into the police station constantly. You know, I'm doing shows.
Yeah.
Constantly trying to rile the police
Yeah.
up to get them to come kill me.
I
saying
remember, yeah.
What?
You
I'm
said that in the first episode. I remember.
constantly over and over again. So he came to court and testified to all of this, what she was doing. She literally, when he came, they uncuffed me. She showed up at the house. And they asked me to leave my house again. After she abandoned it and trashed it, they said, Evan, it's best that you leave because she's here and she has a restraining order.
Oh, my goodness.
So I had to leave.
Damn.
After I had a cleanup crew there, they had to leave. I had the bin outside. And what do you think she did? Tore the house up again. And she literally did this 3 times where I would come, she'd have the neighbor, and I didn't know who the neighbor was.
Yeah.
Then I found out because this dude showed up to
Damn.
court to help her, and then I saw him. He was one of the people that was talking to me when I'm trying to clean my house up and get ready. He would come over and talk to me. He's
And
the one that was
snitching.
calling
And
her
snitching on you.
and helping her to plot to come, and she would show up and be in the front of the house because it's a big house. I didn't know she was out in the front patio. Police come, she say he's here trying to kill me and I still live here. Well, I take the police in the house, show them the house is abandoned and that she trashed it, and then the police will go, ma'am, you don't live here, ma'am, you need to stop this. And she's yelling and screaming at the police. And literally they would ask me to leave again. And what do you think she would do? Drill holes in the doors, tear the house up again. So I said, I cannot go back to the house. I just didn't go back to my own house. Then they sent me a letter saying, we're going to sell your house this weekend. We're going to have an auction. So I showed up trying to get some things and you know,
Damn.
and literally that neighbor called her again. She showed up at the house. Police showed up again and told me I gotta go. And so I never went back to my house again. It went into foreclosure. They took my house from me.
You listening to the Dope Dealer
Oh my
podcast?
goodness, Evan Lionel is is in the house, just telling his
Woo.
incredible story. Here's
God
another
damn.
message we got. Who listened to the episode 77, the original? You're listening to. I just want to see my kids, part 2. Great podcast, fellas. But that guy married a crazy bitch. It's not the system after you. It's not the system after you. She lied to the cops and she knew how to use the system. Hope you get to see your kids soon.
It's not that it's the system after me, but if she got the ball rolling for the system to do the wrong that they do. It's the same thing that they did. I've been reading the Brian Banks story, and it had me in tears.
Yeah.
The same thing they did to him. It wasn't a girl. The girl lied. They could see she lied, but the system took over and ruined that man's life. Like the system took over and ruined my life. They're there to actually figure out what's really right and what's really wrong. They're there to get to the bottom of things. But what they do against a black man is they literally create shit. They kept trying to get me jail time. And that's what I haven't told y'all. So then after that, after the house situation, she lied and had the police come look for me again and put a warrant out for my arrest again. So I'm going to TD Jakes is in town, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm going
Oh, no,
I'm going to
nigga.
Noel Jones Church to see TD Jakes. The police and sirens pull me over in my truck. So I'm like, damn, why they pulling me over? I ain't done nothing wrong, right? So
Especially on the way to TD Jakes. Go ahead.
I'm going to see TD Jakes. They walk up to the door and they say, "Are you Evan Lionel?" I go, "Yeah, I am." They said, "Let me see some ID. Step out the car, sir." I said, "What's wrong, officer? I haven't done anything wrong. I didn't make no wrong turns. Why did you stop me?" He said, "There's a warrant out for your arrest."
Yeah, you should know when he called you by your name. That wasn't no traffic violation, nigga. Nigga, you didn't make a wrong turn or slide through a stop sign, nigga.
Nothing. He knew my name. So he took my ID and he said, "Where you going, man?" He said, "There's a warrant out for your arrest." I said, "For what? I haven't done anything." He said, "Well, it says here Marion Lionel has a warrant out for your arrest because you broke into your son's school's principal's office and broke into his computer." Now, first of all, I don't even know how Tobe using a MacBook over here. That's how ignorant I am when it comes to computers. They literally looked me in my eyes and he said, I'm looking at, I might have to arrest you. He said, "Where you going?" I said, "I'm going to church, man. I'm going to hear TD Jakes." But he was a Latin officer, so he didn't know who TD Jakes was. But he did say, "I'm looking at you, and I can tell you ain't no bad dude." He said, "I could tell you." He said, "I looked you up. There's no criminal history, no nothing." He said, "That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you go, man. I'm going to let you go hear TD Jakes or whoever you talking about at church." He said, "But tomorrow, you need to go turn yourself in. Because anybody else stop you, they ain't going to give you the break I'm giving you." So that lets you know all officers ain't bad. This man let me go and trusted me to turn myself in, which I did the next day. Well, the judge looked at it, and he wasn't a part of that wicked cabal. He was just, the first judge. He looked at it, and he let me go on my own recognizances and said, "Sure, we're going to trust you to show up to court." Because the bail was, I think, $50,000, so it's $5,000. And he said, we're going to trust you to show up. And I literally had to hire another lawyer for that because the public defender came to me and was like, "We want you to take a deal." Immediately, take a deal. I said, "For what? I haven't done anything wrong. I don't know even where my kids go to school at. How can I break in the principal's office? I don't even know where my kids are."
We're breaking in the principal office for?
If you could put a dollar amount, Evan, on how much you spent in lawyers, police, just everything that's dealt with the situation with your ex-wife and not seeing your kids. I mean, just a rough estimate. How much you think it is?
I'm close to $200K.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. On trying to keep, trying to see my kids. Most of the money is spent on trying to see my kids, and the other half is spent on the false allegations that she would make. And let me say this to all the homies out there who think this is just me. A woman can make any false allegation on you, just like they did on Brian Banks, just like they did on me, and all they have to do is have words. They don't need no proof or nothing. You gonna get arrested. Trust and believe that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, motherfucker better believe that shit.
If you don't, wait and see. Make your girl mad. So I'm actually proposing a new law on the books that women who lie on men, women who come with false allegations, like what in the Brian Banks story, like in my story,
Like in a
that
lot
they
of
that they get
stories.
in a lot of stories where black men and Latin men mostly
Yeah.
are in jail for the rest of their life based on a lie. I'm suggesting the Lionel versus Lionel law. The Lionel law that literally states that every woman that lies should get 10 years mandatory.
I agree with that.
10 years mandatory.
Or somebody, I seen someone online and said the same time I would have got if I was guilty. That's what the lady should get, the woman should get if she turns out she was.
Now,
lying.
I go to 10 years because, I mean, like, say it's a rape case and she lied, though, and they give a motherfucker 30. Should you get 30 for lying? But no, they should get a solid 10 for lying.
10 years mandatory. If there's any politician,
Hey, that would stop all the lying. That would stop these
Yes.
bitches from lying. If they knew
Yes.
that they could get 10 years if they was caught in a lie, that would stop that shit.
I'm saying go to my petition, change.org, Evan Lionel, to stop corruption and disbar corrupt attorneys and family court. I'm saying women should get 10 years mandatory. Because here's what happened, Toby. They didn't think, because I didn't know where my kid's school was, they didn't think I had any recourse.
Right.
But I had to hire a good lawyer, and I hired Dr. Charles Agege, who was excellent. He went and found the school and found the principal, and the principal came to court to testify on my behalf. They didn't think I was going to find this guy in that amount of time.
You know what?
You feel me?
You know what really, like, one of the things that baffles me, like, in a situation like this, and I've had my own situations, but I wonder, what is she telling your kids, man? They are so big. I mean, they're old. I mean,
that's
like,
a good
what could
question.
she be saying to them? I mean, that's the shit that just sticks in the back of my mind. Like, what the fuck could she be telling them?
I think she's telling them that I'm in jail. That's why they keep trying to get me a criminal record, because they did offer me an opportunity to see my kids, but they said it has to be in an institution.
I remember you told us
with
that.
guns and police around everywhere. And I said, why? I'm not a criminal. I haven't committed any crime. That's
Right.
for people who are dangerous, like high, you
Yeah.
know, super felons. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You got to have people there watching them and that. I'm an entertainer, and I'm known. Like, I'm around the world performing. I just got back from the East Coast doing a gang of shows. Why would I go see my kids after I haven't seen them in almost 6 years in an institution like that where it's police and guns and I'm in a glass room and all that?
And that's all they gonna know is I went to go see he was in some kind. He was around guns and behind bars
and police, and he was a criminal.
Yeah.
And I'm not a criminal, and I'm not gonna allow my kids to go through that. That's sick that the judge would try to make me do that. That's her attorney, her crooked attorney, actually spearheading this.
Hey, I remember one time, I was, this is the one time that I didn't commit a crime, but I was locked up for like a week because it was like a mistake. And the funny part is that I never forget, at this time, my daughters, they probably was like 6 and 4, or maybe like 7 and 5, somewhere around there. So my ex, the only way, she didn't have nobody to watch the kids, so the only way to come see me during that week to talk to me, she had to bring the girls with her. And so I remember I walked out there and the girls out there, and I was thinking to myself, like, why the fuck you bring the girls? I'm only going to be here a week. It's like, why, you know, they don't need to see me like this.
Right.
So I'm thinking to myself, like, what did she tell him? She told him, I'll never forget this shit. She told him I was at a comedy camp. And they was so young, they believed it. You know, they was like, oh. They came to the jail, and they was like, well, why is Daddy behind this glass? This is a comedy camp.
How old were they?
They was about 4 and 6, 5 and
That
7,
is
somewhere like that.
hilarious. That
They're
remind me of that.
telling jokes back
Yeah.
there. You
Yeah.
can't hear the jokes because it's grown-up jokes.
That remind me of that. Didn't Kev do a joke? Kevin Hart got a joke where his father went away and his mom said, "Your daddy's in college," and his older brother was like, "Your daddy ain't in no goddamn college."
Hey, but yeah, comedy camp. I was like, damn, that was clever.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And they believe that shit. Till they hear this now, they never knew I was locked up that week.
Oh, you never told them
No,
when they
that
got
week.
older?
Well, I hadn't done anything to be locked up, and if I believe they're telling my children that your dad is locked up because he harmed your mom, and I've never harmed their mother. God is my witness. I've never put hands on her in any way, but the way I've been treated, I kind of wish I had. I ain't gonna even lie because I've been treated so horribly. It's like when I read the Brian Banks story, I was reading that on the flight over here. That man, they took that man's whole life away.
Took his whole year.
He was headed to USC
Yeah.
on a full
Yeah.
scholarship, full ride, the school of his choice. All the
Yeah.
colleges was after him.
And barring a catastrophic injury, he was on his way to the NFL.
Yeah.
On his way to the NFL, and this woman lied. This girl lied on this man and destroyed his life. His mother had to sell her house, and the lawyer there was not a good lawyer. Mom sold her house, sold her car to try to get help for her son, and the lawyer just took that money and made him take a deal. Here's the thing, Toby. I never took any of those deals. And here's how it got really crazy. So
What type of deals did they offer you?
you know, do 3 years and then probation, you know, that type of shit. You know, I don't know that life. You know that life better than me.
But I'm
Toby.
saying, what was it? I mean, they was trying to charge you with a. I mean, what?
Here's the thing. It was so crooked because if I was breaking into computers, that's a felony. That's a feds. The feds supposed to come through, not regular local cops. That let me know they was on bullshit. So, and then they were trying to try me in the family court. You feel me? With a criminal charge in family court because that judge was corrupt. So when I hired Dr. Agege, he got the charges dismissed. Like they arraign you in family court. They literally say this is a criminal case and blah, blah, blah. Because they know if they send it to criminal court, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. And they know criminal court going to throw it out.
Yeah.
So this crooked ass family court judge said, I can do it in here and get him convicted. Well, Dr. Charles Agege was excellent at you know what he knew as far as the law, so he got all the charges dropped and dismissed, right? He got them dismissed. Do you know they took me to another court in San Fernando? Oh, I didn't tell you, the principal showed up as a witness, right?
Yeah,
He showed up, and then the principal was ready to testify, and then that made the judge not want him to get up there and say, this man has never been to my school. This man didn't even know where his kid was going to school at. You feel me? And they didn't let him testify. They just dropped all the charges. Now, here's the deal. They take the case to another court. Now, you know that's double jeopardy. You can't charge somebody with the same charges that they were acquitted of.
Exactly.
Do you know in the crooked court they took me to, the judge was trying to charge me again, and I was in court all over again for a whole nother year and a half, and I had to hire Charles Agege at 10 grand a pop as a retainer each time. So he came to that court and had to argue profusely for a year that this is double jeopardy. And the judge was like, I don't want to hear it. And then he got kicked off the bench. He got taken off the bench. A black lady came in. She said, what is going on here? Y'all know what res judicata is. Y'all know what double jeopardy is. This man shouldn't even be here. Y'all done had him here all year. Mr. Lionel, this is dismissed. Go home. Do you know them 6 people that was grouped together trying to get me convicted, literally tried to argue with this judge? And she literally told them, y'all better sit down. Y'all know the law up in here. We are not changing the law. Mr. Lionel, go home. I stood up in the court and I said, righteousness has prevailed. Look at this foolishness up in here. She said, all right, Mr. Lionel, you better go home. And
Was your wife in there? Was your wife in there?
She was there the whole time. It was ridiculous.
So
and the neighbor that was calling, he was in there too.
Does she look you in your eyes when you was in court?
She looks down at the floor. She never looked at me. She just be looking at the floor, and I try to look at her to see, and she just looks at the floor or looks at the crooked attorney. Change.org, y'all. Evan Lionel to disbar corrupt attorneys, change.org. Sign that petition, and hopefully, Toby, we can get a law passed where women who seek to use the system in a wrong manner and to abuse the system, they should get a mandatory, once they're caught in their lies, they should get a mandatory sentence of 10 years for perjuring themselves and for creating false allegations in order to have someone imprisoned.
Damn.
Mentally, and, I'm not mentally. What has this done to you? I mean, I just think all the shit I try to put myself like I don't even know if I would have been able to go through everything that you went through. How you doing mentally?
Not well.
Yeah.
It caused me to have high blood pressure. Y'all
Right,
see I'm not overweight.
Right.
So I have high blood pressure as a result of this situation, this traumatic shit, and not seeing my kids. And I ain't gonna lie, it has made me angry towards women, y'all. Like it's hard for me to trust a woman, and there are trigger words. If they say certain things, I be up. I be leaving. We be in a restaurant anywhere. I get up and leave. I be gone because I'm not gonna put myself in that situation again ever.
Yeah.
It literally. I have yet to meet a woman that actually has compassion enough to know that men actually hurt just like they do when it comes to the kids in these sorts of situations.
I mean, and I see where you was trying to go, Jamal. You was trying to ask Evan, and I could see that where he was trying to go. It's almost like you don't have that answer.
Yeah.
It's impossible to know. And what I mean by that, because I just think about my situation, and at least I'm able to see my kids, but just the fact that the relationship didn't work and I'm not in their life on a daily basis, that's enough pain. So the pain that he has is even triple, or maybe even 10 times, or at least triple the amount of pain that I've suffered because I still get to see him. I mean, hell, man, every time I drop my daughters off at their house, I get sad. Yeah. Some nights you can't sleep, you thinking about them. You can't even tell how much damage is done to you.
I wake up every morning literally thinking about my babies, and all day when I see people with their kids, my heart is hurting. Where are my babies at? Are they okay? And don't let me hear on the news child abducted or that child abduction alert comes on, my heart drops.
Yeah.
Don't let me see some kids were abused or beaten or harmed. I go, are my babies okay? And I pray to God. I always pray, and I trust and have faith in God, because I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't know what I would do if I get word that something happened to one of my babies. I honestly don't know what I will do. Yeah. For real.
It takes you have a lot of strength, brother, because I just know. I don't know if I would have been able. I'll be honest.
You would have been able.
And I just know that's why a lot of niggas snap.
This is the type
grab
of shit,
a gun and shoot up everybody.
This is the type of shit that ain't us. That's white folks. It's some.
Hey, Toby, in Atlanta,
you know what I'm saying.
Check this out, Toby. In Atlanta, it was a brother just like me, same size as me, good dad, good dude, no criminal record, the whole nine. This dude killed 6 sheriffs, the judge, went outside and killed the police, and then went and this woman, he actually broke into her place, and they were saying he held her hostage. He just needed to eat and shower and all that stuff. This lady prayed with him, literally to calm him down. He went and took a shower. She cooked them pancakes, breakfast, and everything.
Man,
it's a book about it.
Yeah.
And he literally turned himself back in. He snapped. He just wanted to see his kids.
Yeah.
He literally wanted, he was not a criminal. He just wanted to see his kids. He has the same training that I have. The same level of training. What they kept doing was pushing him, and he lost it. And they kept arresting him like they was arresting me constantly. So every time you hear sirens, you go, oh, these motherfuckers coming again. Here they come again. And I told you I found out one of the arresting officers, she was dating him.
That blew up. Episode 77, Dope Do This podcast.
It's abuse of the law. And the same thing, like if a woman is connected to any cop and he's like digging on her, because, you know, ex-wifey fine. I ain't
Yeah.
going to take that from her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So all she got to do is look innocent and this, that, and the other, and that person will abuse his authority. Well, I'm a man. You feel me? And I'm from Chicago. I'm not out here no weak man. So if you come at me incorrect and I'm concerned about my kids, it could jump off. It even jumped off at the courthouse that I was at. A guy came to the courthouse. He was tired of not getting any justice. He literally tried to stab his ex to death.
Oh my
and they
goodness.
shot him to death and killed him at the 2 weeks after I left that courtroom. He was in that courtroom, and that's what he tried to do, and they killed him. This has got something's got to be done about
something
this.
has to be something has to be done, man. What
Wow.
what got you through this? Like what? I mean,
What's getting you through
what's
it? Ain't,
getting you
yeah.
through it? I mean,
shit. This is
where's your strength? Where do your strength come from?
It's Jamal is like chess. Like, for real, I know that whatever I do wrong is not gonna help me see my babies.
Right.
If I do anything bad, I just, you know, the devil gonna put all kind of thoughts in your
Yeah,
head. Like,
yeah.
trust and believe every morning, every night. He like, they got your babies. You can't even protect your babies. They keeping your babies from you. They vilifying you. They took your house. They took your cars. They done took all this money
You
from
do
you.
hear them voices.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead. That shit's
you
real.
a man. What kind of man are you? Look
That
at you.
shit's real.
Where your daughters at? You see this shit happening on TV. You see what they doing to women out there. Your daughters are gorgeous. You just gonna let this slide? That lawyer in his office. Go see that man. You a man. All that will pop into your head. But if you listen to Satan on that, you'll never see your kids again. And I used to have a nightmare that I would do some wild stuff and my little baby daughter, my youngest one, will walk out. You feel me? And she see me. So that's my saving grace, knowing that I want to see my kids again. And if I'm in the lockup, I'll never see them again.
That's for sure.
If I'm dead, I'll never see them again. So my saving grace is having faith in God and actually faith enough to believe one day I'll see them again. And shout out to Larita Shelby, who we was both crying together. We have a documentary coming out called Dad Speaks. And she has a book out on my father's side. She searched for her father for 40 years and finally found him. And when she found him, he passed away, but he at least told her the story of why he wasn't there, and her mother was doing the same thing.
Whew.
See, that's how. Yeah. See, I never seen my father before in my life, Evan, and I used, as a kid, that shit was tough. I used to, I used to think that it was my father's fault, and he, because I just didn't know.
And you was
But
angry?
then as I got older and I became a man and started dating women, then I realized that, hey, shit, maybe it wasn't my father's fault. Maybe it was my mother's fault.
Did your mom ever talk to you and tell you what was up?
My mother didn't talk to me about this until I was a grown-ass man. I was in my 30s. I was like 30 years old when my mother finally told me that it was 2 men she was sleeping with, so she didn't know which one. She gave me 2 names. And I started to try to look for them and got frustrated or whatever. And, man, every Father's Day, like, that's the worst day of the year for me is Father's Day. When I'm supposed to be celebrated or whatever, all I ever think about on Father's Day, my kids try to do shit, go out, whatever. They don't know that my thoughts is I'm 1 year, that means, I haven't seen my father. That just, each year that passes, I know that the chances get slimmer that I will ever see him and ever know.
Yeah.
Well, you go through highs and lows. You be angry.
Yeah.
And then you feel defeated, and then you feel like there's hope. You go through that constantly.
Sometimes you blame yourself. Sometimes
Yeah.
you blame her. Sometimes you blame the system. Sometimes you blame family members. Sometimes you blame friends. You go through all of that shit.
Yeah, and right now is one of my lows. I want to let the audience know that.
Why is that?
If I look mad, it's because I am. My daughter's birthday is coming up, and I notice every time around their birthdays, I become extremely angry and be in a lot of pain. I get sick. When it's holidays like Christmas or Thanksgiving, I get sick. I be angry.
Yeah,
So
holidays ain't the same no more. People don't understand. Holidays are, like me and my ex and the kids, we have been split up. It took me at least 5 years, and now it's been 6 years. But on my 5th year, it was at that point I realized that no matter what, my life's never gonna be the same. It took me 5 years to realize, and it wasn't about the woman or the relationship. It was just about the whole family and all of this shit. And like it'll never be the same.
Yeah, and I just to the women out there, you're hurting your kids.
That's
way
funny.
Yeah.
more
I was
than
just
you're
about to
hurting
say that.
us.
They
We're-
have no idea that
You're
doing.
damaging them for the rest of
Their
their
lives,
lives. You're damaging them because I didn't have a father. But my mom was straight up. My mom wasn't hiding my father. She was honest from the gate when I was a kid. My mom was, and y'all know I'm honest. So my mom was a mistress. And so my brother's father was the married man, and he was dating my mother while my mother was pregnant with me. And my father would show up, and he'd already be there. And my mom said they would outsit each other. And then she said my brother's father would they get drunk together. My brother's father would literally offer my father a ride home so he wouldn't be there with my mother while she was pregnant with me. And my mom was honest about all that. And she said, I'll never keep your father from you. And then how I met him was at my grandmother's funeral. A dude was walking past the casket, dressed real sharp, tall, looked like me, tan the whole night. I said, Mom, who's that man right there? She's like, that's your father. Like, a matter of fact,
Yeah,
like
bro.
wasn't even going to tell me.
How old was you at
that
this point?
Nigga, I was 14.
Oh.
Wasn't even going to tell me that this dude is here. Like, my mom was, what the fuck? I was like, I looked at my mom. I got up. I started kicking my cousin. Get out the way. Get out the way. Then I followed my father into the bathroom. And I looked at him in the mirror. I followed him. He was at the urinal. I looked at him, and when he was washing his hand, I said, I was all mad. You know, you be mad, right?
Yeah.
Hey, man, you know who I am? And he looked at me. He said, yeah, I think I do. And I said, well, where you been, man? And he said, well, I thought your mom and Charlie had it together. And I never did have no problems with no women. So, meaning he thought that I was Chuck's kid, not his. He said, but we can get to know each other's now. And I started getting to know my dad, and he died 3 years later. He came to California, called me from here. He had a heart attack and died. He was 62. So I met him at 14. He died when I was 17.
Oh, wow.
Ladies, y'all need to stop doing this to men out here, because he actually wanted to be a father to me, but my mom was wilding. You know, and my mom, if I called her right now, my mom would get on here and say, yeah, that's exactly what I was. My mom, gangster,
Yeah,
like south side of Chicago. I love being a mistress. So we need some sort of understanding, and we need some legislation where women cannot destroy children's lives like this. Because I'm looking at Tobe, and Tobe is real about every Father's Day he hurting. If we
Oh
could
yeah,
do
that's the
something-
worst. That's the worst day of the year for me. It's Father's Day.
Yeah,
You know, it wouldn't matter if I had 20 kids and they was all right there and they all loved. That still wouldn't take away the pain of what I go through not ever knowing my father. And what's so crazy, Evan? I mean, you probably feel like this. I mean, I'm sure you feel like this because those are your kids. I can feel my family out there. I know I have sisters and brothers. I can feel them. I know I got nieces and nephews. I know I got people out there that would love me and that I would love them. I can feel them out there in the universe.
You're connected to them, and I think a lot of times when I get sick or I'm hurting inside and I don't know why, it's because my kid is sick, my baby's sick. Because when they say we're pregnant, it's true. When my wife was pregnant with my first son, she was not sick at all. I was sick as hell. I had all the morning sickness. I was throwing up. I gained weight. And the doctor, I was like, what the fuck's going on? And the doctor said, well, y'all pregnant. I was like, man, she the woman. Ain't no, I'm a motherfucking man. You telling me this bull? I literally got all her morning sickness. And I gained weight. And I'm pretty, I'm slim. I don't, I'm not a fat. I don't do the fat thing. That's not in my genes. When she was pregnant with my son, I had gained probably 50 pounds.
Oh, shit.
And then when the pregnancy was over, the weight dropped. So you do be pregnant, so you can feel your kids out there. And I just want to say to my babies, your father loves you, and I miss you terribly. And I have not stopped fighting. That's why I've done this documentary. That's why the moment I got into town, I sped over here to see Jamal and Tobe to do the second part of this podcast. That's why I got a petition online. Once again, Evan Lionel, change.org. to disbar corrupt attorneys in family court. And it's a specific name that I'm not going to mention that y'all will see on there, but you just put in my name on change.org and a petition will come up. Please sign it. We need a law that literally holds women accountable for destroying children's lives and destroying men's lives based on the fact that they just being vindictive.
This is the Dope Dealer Podcast.
Yeah. Here's a question real quick, Toby. Who do y'all know was actually held accountable for false allegations? What woman did they didn't do Brian Banks. She got $1 million+
Yeah.
Nothing happened to her.
And didn't have to give it back.
Nah.
Right.
No, all she did was, I'm sorry. You know, that's basically it. No, they ain't done nothing to no woman.
Nothing.
So what can we do?
It's it starts with you doing the right thing with this documentary. The petition.
If you could say something to your ex-wife right now, what would you say to her, Evan?
I would say you're hurting our kids more than you're hurting anyone. Our kids are going to be damaged for the rest of their life. You know, I was an excellent father to them. You know, they're gifted because I worked so hard and taught them very well. You know the man that I am. You know I've never harmed you. You know you've never had any reason to be afraid of me. You know that you did wrong. I'm asking you to own up to it for the sake of our children. I'm asking you to actually report that corrupt attorney that you hired and actually bring him to justice in every corrupt attorney, because that corrupt attorney is taking money from you as well as me, that's money that would be for our children to go to college. And they're exhausting all of our resources, yours and mine, while they send their kids to country clubs, or they take vacations, or they go golfing, they buy boats, they buy vacation homes off our hard-earned money that could go to our children. So I would ask you to stop this ball from rolling. Report this attorney and all the crooked stuff he encouraged you to do and anybody else involved, and work to change this law. And then you can clearly be forgiven and you can forgive yourself.
That's what I was going to ask, Evan. I was going to say, if she called today and said, look, you know, I'm going to stop this shit, you can see the kids, how hard would it be for you to forgive her? If she changed today?
I couldn't trust her, Toby. She's done so much wrong that I honestly couldn't trust that she's not setting me up. She's literally tried to have me put in prison 4 times with false allegations that were dismissed. She tried to have the police murder me. So how am I to walk in and trust her? She tried to have the police murder me, man. Like, and y'all know how they killing black men.
Yeah.
Like, at the drop of a dime.
They anxious to do that.
So I need to know. Oh, and just while it's on my mind, have you done, concerning your father, Toby, have you done Ancestry.com or African Ancestry? Because it could possibly, they do the whole lineage, and it'll show you who's related to you and close to you. You might be
I know, I thought about doing that, but I said, shit. How the fuck is Ancestry.com gonna tell me shit when my mother don't even know who the fuck the nigga is?
But see, people go into that system and they just match your bloodline. You feel me? So you might meet a nephew that is connected to
Bob
your
Marley
father
might meet my daddy then. Shit, you can drink blood.
You don't know, but you could. What it is I got a friend that went on there, and she found out that the dude she's been working with for 25 years, and they've been super tight at work. She found out that's her cousin.
I'm going to do it, man. I'm going to do it. You know, shout out, because you know what? You the second person. No, you the third person that told me that I need to do that when they found out about my father's situation. So Naeem Lynn told me that. Dale Harrison told me I need to look for him. And now you done told me.
You should.
Yeah, because it's, I mean, at least I looked at it like this. It's 2 gentlemen. If one of them was alive and I found out that wasn't my father, at least I would know he's dead and I could go on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just not knowing it's a mother.
Is going to show your bloodline, though. It's going to show who's in your bloodline. And it might not be your father. He might not be messing with Ancestry. But if anybody in his bloodline messed with Ancestry, it's going to connect to you. And then you call them. That's how one of my right now, that's how she found her family. A cousin connected to her on Ancestry, and then she contacted the cousin, and the cousin told her who her dad was and her mom was and all that stuff, because she didn't know her mom or her dad. She was adopted.
Oh, wow.
So in my situation, my kids do know me. They know I was an excellent father. I know they miss me every day, just like I miss them. And I would say to any woman out there, including my ex-wife, how do you look at your kids every day in the face?
They have to
When-
ask about you, yeah.
Yes, and what do you say to your kids? How do you lie to your kids every day? I want to be in my children's lives.
Hey, I had this. I had this little piece of paper I keep in my wallet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On this paper, this is the two guys' names my mom gave me.
Mm.
One of the gentlemen's name is Ronald Randolph.
Mm-hmm.
Ronald Randolph.
He was from Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
The other gentleman's name is Willard Scott.
Willard Scott.
He was from North Carolina.
Mm.
My mother met them when she was in the military, so they was all in the military.
Oh, okay.
So I know that makes it.
Yeah, that makes it because they
A
got the
little
military
easy.
got the records.
And
if they-
Ronald Randolph from
Yeah.
Pennsylvania and Willard Scott from North Carolina, and they both were Marines.
Yeah, so if they still go to the VA hospital to get medical treatment, like they still might be some records of it because my brother is still, once they out of the
Yeah.
military, they still go to the VA hospital.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Ronald,
so,
if anybody knows Ronald Randolph or Willard Scott, or anybody knows their kids, anybody, if you think you know them, contact the Dope Dealer Podcast, 818-335-2065. 818-335-2065.
Shout out
That's
to-
how we do it on the Dope Dealer Podcast. I just exposed my father's names to the world when I
Possibly.
never told nobody.
Possibly, yeah. I hope
No, ain't no
yeah.
possibly. I hope
That's their name.
it's
Oh,
got to be one of these
Well,
niggas.
okay.
Right, but if
It
they're the
is-
military, Toby, you could go to the military
Yeah, I
and
know.
actually say, this is my relative, I need to find him.
Yeah.
I see Corey Holcomb
Yeah,
was
shout out to
on
Corey.
there.
Corey
Shout
Holcomb
out. What up,
watching
Corey?
Chi-Town's finest.
Yeah.
Richard Lee, a lot of people. We actually had
Corey
some,
had me on his show talking about this.
5150.
Yeah, it's the beat is going on, Corey. We still out here fighting. I still haven't seen my babies, man.
So
It
shout out
ain't
to Pamela. I'm gonna mess up her last name. She said she's got a message for you. Go through all of these lows, but your children will be your anchor to keep you from doing something foolish. You actually sound like a good, caring man. So shout out to
Thank
Pamela.
you, Pamela.
Dal Doc Carter. What's up, Dal Doc Carter?
What up, Doc?
Daryl?
Rick Carson. What up, Hope? My LA high school friend. Y'all know who that is? So yeah, I just want to get some messages. Pamela shouted us out a lot. People, Dal Doc Carter, Carlos Mendez, everybody. So shout out to Corey Holcomb watching us too, man. Yeah, you was on Corey's show, the
I was
5150
on
show.
Corey's show. We went in about it. You know what I'm saying? Corey knows my family. He from the South Side too. Grew up with my family. Corey was running with my cousins. I wasn't.
I
even
know
messing
Corey
with
had a hell of a. I know that nigga has some shit to say about your situation. That's right up that
Corey
nigga's
was
alley,
going in.
boy.
Corey,
That nigga's,
in the beginning, Corey was like, he don't even know why I'm getting married. He was like, hey, Evan, you know you ain't supposed to get married, dog.
damn. You sound just like
do
him.
sound just like him.
Then he did the Tupac song. He was like, you know the da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah.
You a player for life, man. You know you ain't supposed to get married, man.
Hey, Corey Holcomb is one of the cats that, being a comedian, he's one of the cats that always make me laugh, no matter what the fuck, no matter how.
Yeah,
He
comedians.
he always kills me, man. That nigga is funny to me. Shout out to Corey.
He
man.
always been like that though.
Yeah, man.
Even before he was really hot in comedy, just naturally funny.
Chi-Town
nigga's
got some.
funny, man.
Chi-Town
Nigga's
may
funny.
have some legendary. I know we a little bit off topic, but just you a Chi-Town comic. So many great comics have come from that city, man.
Yeah.
What y'all got in the water up there, man?
Man, it's the life.
It's
you
the life,
know,
is that what it is?
From pain comes great comedy. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of pain in Chicago, and you see the greatest comedians come from. Richard Pryor is from Illinois. He's from Peoria.
Yeah.
So,
The Bernie Mac, Adele Givens,
a lot of pain, man.
Corey Holcomb. Evan Lionel, Vanessa
Just,
Fraction,
yeah.
Lil Rel,
You could
D-Ray.
continue down the
Yeah, I
line.
could.
Dion.
Yeah, oh, Dion Cole. Totally forgot about
right,
Kenny
yeah.
Howell, right?
Yeah, Kenny
Yeah.
Howell.
Yeah.
Oh, and Corey's best friend, Damon Williams, too.
Oh, Damon.
Shout
Shout out to Damon Williams.
Shout out to Damon and Corey. Y'all brothers.
Shout
That's
out
what's up.
Shout out to Damon
They know
Williams,
what's
man.
going on. Much love to all my folks from Chicago, all day, every day.
Yeah, man. This is and how you speaking of Chicago, I mean, your folks back home, what are they telling you? I'm sure you got a lot of support.
I mean, who's been doing it? Who's been the most supportive in your family that's come to you and always been there for you, just to talk to you about the situation that you can call at any moment? What family member is that?
Nobody. That's
Oh, wow.
Y'all gotta understand.
I think you mentioned that in the first episode.
My family dealing with being in Chicago.
Yeah,
One of my cousins was just found in his apartment dead at the beginning of this year. His brother was murdered at 16. One of my cousins is in a wheelchair from being shot when we was in our senior year of high school.
So
They not really pretty much, and none of them hardly know they fathers. You feel me? So they pretty much ain't.
They can't even feel it.
They not even. They do, and like I'll see on Facebook, they'll hit me. Some of them, cuz keep fighting, or
Stay strong,
that kind of shit. But they don't understand because they dealing with their own situations and trying to get by. You know.
So what's the next step? I know you still got the petition. You got the documentary.
Documentary is coming. Dad Speaks, and then I'm in the process of writing a book about this. And from the book, I'm gonna write a film about this. And I want to come with the hardcore truth. But the actual goal, Jamal, is to get a law passed.
Right.
That women who perjure themselves in order to vilify a man who creates false allegations and falsely accuses a man, that they're held accountable and that they get a mandatory 10 years.
Yes.
Like mandatory. How do we make that happen, Toby?
I don't know, man. It's so tough because it's so hard to prove them wrong in a case like this, because it's just your word against theirs in that type of setting, and I don't know, man.
I have all the evidence.
I ain't talking about your case.
Record.
I'm saying and then even the case like Brian Banks, the girl admitted it or whatever. But I mean,
why didn't she get time?
That was years ago. So now he got out, and then now she admitted they let him out or whatever. And so now she should be in jail at this moment.
Right.
True
but
that,
there was
true
no
that.
law on the books. And that's what I'm saying. We need to get a law on the books. They can't put you in jail if there's no law that you breaking. Even if you're doing something wrong, if there's no law against it, you ain't going to jail. And what's wild in Brian Banks' book, he said they was giving young black teenagers, he said 2 15-year-olds, they gave one of them 40 years, they gave one of them 30 years. He said there was a 17-year-old they gave 71 years because he was just standing there when somebody got shot. He said, but all the white kids, he said they would admit to the crimes, laugh and joke about the crimes, and say, I'm going to be out of here. And he said, sure enough, in about 2 weeks, they'd be gone. They literally free. But black and Latin men still getting life, double life, and stuff a lot of them didn't even do, crimes they didn't even commit. We got to stand together and change our system. That's why I don't know why my Latin brothers out there, sometimes y'all shock me when y'all looking at us with hate. We ain't your enemy. We not the one locking you up. If we came together, do you know how strong we would be if we came together? True. But y'all see us and y'all be intimidated. We've never sought out to hurt y'all or do anything. It's not us with the power to do anything to y'all. You feel me? So they love when we separate. And you go to court, it ain't nothing but Latin and black men. Every time I went, it was Latin and black men up in there.
Yeah, that's true.
It's an unfortunate situation, and so 6 years going on. You haven't seen your kids, haven't talked to your wife in 6 years.
Don't want to talk to her, but I just want to talk to my kids.
And no idea where they
at. Her. I don't know where they are.
Has anybody during this 6 years? Has anyone seen him? Anybody you know told you anything? Like I seen them once, or I thought it could have been them, or anything.
It's weird. I know people that know her, that I introduced to them, and I ain't gonna say no names because they big names in Hollywood. And I know their wives are friends with my wife, and one of them had the nerve to say, "Don't call my house again," asking if your kids have been by here. And I gotta be honest, it was nothing but God that stopped me from stumping his face into the concrete, saying something like that to me when he's supposed to be my friend.
Yeah.
If y'all seeing my babies as my homie, you supposed to call me and say your child over here.
Yeah.
And your baby is okay. But I did have one homie say he saw them. They was out somewhere at a fair, and he said that he saw them, and he said my son was keeping my daughters in check like he was me, and that brought joy to. He said he watch over them girls, man, and he was checking them. Get over here, you know not to be doing that, and that made me happy.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what's up. Well, brother, you know it's you know God is got your back, man.
Man, we are looking forward to you. You know what? I'm just waiting on the day that you come back to the Dope Dealer podcast and you tell us that you've seen your kids and everything is cool. Man, we praying for that day for you because this right here, nobody deserves this. I mean, especially nobody. I mean, you know what? I can't even think of nobody that I dislike enough that I would want them to go through some shit like this. This don't even make no sense. This is very, very painful. And women,
stop it.
Yeah, you got to stop this.
Stop
I know,
this bullshit.
you know, and I know it's only a small portion of you women that are doing things like this. Obviously, it's not the majority.
Yeah.
It's just the minority.
Yeah.
But and the other thing is that women, if you know if you got a sister, a friend, if you know somebody who's acting like this,
On that bullshit.
try to talk to them.
Yeah.
Try to help them.
On
Try
that
to
bullshit.
make sure that they don't do nothing that's gonna harm the kids in the future and keep them away from their father or vice versa. Because there's some women going through this shit too.
We just had the story out of you wasn't here for Boogie Cousins.
Yeah.
His I don't know if you know that story. The basketball player. He got married and his baby mama would not let his child.
His boy
come to his
8 years
wedding.
old.
His boy was 8 years old.
And she wouldn't let
so
him
he
come
on the
to
phone
wedding.
like he asked her nicely. I'm asking you one more time. Please, can my son come to my wedding? She was like, no. And then he was like, bitch, I'm gonna put a bullet in your head. Like,
Yeah.
You know, which every man can understand. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
We can understand, but I will say this. Karma, you cannot control your karma, ladies. And so what it has made me understand is no matter what or how angry we get, we cannot do anything compared to what's going to happen when karma gets at them.
Exactly.
Trust and believe. When you see this stuff happening to women, you go, how that happened to her? She got cancer and her whole body fell apart. She fell off a mountain, any of that stuff.
That's karma.
It's their karma. When you do dirt like this to children, and you do dirt to us trying to hurt us, and you're really hurting your children bad, karma is coming to get your
Or where them
ass,
kids
trust
get of age and find out what happened and then turn their back on her.
And I've noticed recently, I've heard a few other stories in these situations. I've noticed a lot of women, young, like, 20 women in their 20s are finding out that their mother did shit to keep them away from their father.
Yeah.
I've seen women talk, like, being honest and be like, I found out it was my mom.
Yeah.
You
Who
know,
was the
it
one?
wasn't my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what the dad Corey Holcomb said something about that. He said, "You ain't never heard your father's story. All you heard was that your bitch ass mom."
Yeah. That's true. I remember that bit. That's real.
You
That's
need to hear what your father has to say. And I would say to anyone out there who is an adult who does not know your father, this is the information age. You can find your father if he's dead or alive. You can find out about him. You just have to put in some work and search.
So,
and that's for you.
Hey,
Toby.
to everybody listening to Dope Dealer Podcast, help Tobe Hixx find his dad.
We're gonna get on that. We're gonna get on that.
Ronald Randolph,
Yeah.
Willard Scott.
Yeah, we're gonna
Ronald Randolph or
from
Willard Scott.
Ronald Randolph from Pennsylvania and
Willard Scott from North Carolina.
North Carolina. We're gonna get on that, man. All right, so Evan, let people know where can they find you at and what you got going on.
Y'all can hit me on Facebook or you can hit me on IG, Evan Lionel 2898. And I have concerts coming up in California. I'm also going to Haiti at the end of the month to perform there.
That's great.
I'm going back to New York to mess with Ray DeJean on his Laughaholics joint. I think you did it, right, Toby?
No, I ain't did that.
I worked with Ray
Jamal,
years
you
ago.
did it? Yeah, I'm going to go back and mess with them in New York. Got a lot of concerts back that way. If you want to know where I am exactly, all you got to do is inbox me on Facebook. Because honestly, truth be told, I can't say everywhere I am because people be clocking to do dirt. And try to block your progress. And I got some great things happening, so I have to let people know after I've done it, so that they can block your progress.
Yeah,
It's crazy,
wow.
man. It's a
Damn,
crazy world,
yeah.
man. What you got coming up, Tobe?
Oh man, damn, this shit done just shook me all up.
Yeah,
But,
I know. Whew, this.
But this Friday, I'll be at the Holiday Inn in Victorville. That's Friday the 13th.
Oh, that's
Boy.
a nice spot too. I worked there.
Yeah, I did it once before. It was pretty wild. And Saturday, I'll be at the Rock House Brewery in Upland. Damn, I'm fucking up like Jamal.
Talking
Yeah,
shit
and
about me.
that's be hosted by the Smash Brothers, Corey and Chad. And this Sunday, September 15th, I'll be at Morongo Casino with the homie Felipe Esparza, Rodrigo Torres, Johnny Roca. And 9/21, next Saturday, September 21st, I'll be at the Federal, a daytime show with the homegirl Twyla Johnson Entertainment Management. Nothing but funny. The daytime show from 1:30 to 4 at the Federal in North Hollywood.
Yes. This Friday, September 13th, Oxnard, California. We're coming back to you for the Oxnard Jazz Festival, the comedy show. The Jazz Festival is on Saturday, but, on Friday, this is our third year doing it. We do the comedy show. Got a hot lineup. I'm hosting. Scruncho is in the house. Denise Carter, Oxnard's own, is in the house. Julio Gonzalez is in the house, Dope Dealer Podcast alumnus. And also Honest John is in the house. So it's going to be a great, great show this Friday. That's at the Ventura Comedy Club. Ventura Harbor Comedy Club. I'm sorry, Ventura Harbor Comedy Club. That's this Friday.
Shout out to Randy Lubis out there.
Yeah, Randy Lubis. Shout out to Chuck Dennis. It starts at 7:30. In Philadelphia, I am coming home. That's right, I'm coming home for my I Survived 20 Years in L.A. comedy show, man. It's Sunday, October 27th. I'm going to be promoting it all through that. But finally, Charlie Mack, 215 Affiliated, presents Jamal Doman, I Survived 20 Years in L.A. Sunday, October 27th. It's at the Punchline Philly. The Punchline Philly, 7:30. So get your tickets to that. Tickets are just $20. Go to the www.punchlinephilly.com and get your tickets. And I'll see you, Philly. All my folks listening, all my family.
Get your tickets,
Come on, get
family.
your tickets. We coming.
He ain't got no
man.
free tickets.
Oh, no free tickets.
No.
Only
gotta-
for mama. Only for
Yeah.
mama, grandma, pop.
Yeah.
That's, maybe a
everybody
couple
else,
aunties.
Everybody else pay your 20.
A couple aunties and a couple aunties, and that's it.
Yeah, support the homie, pay your 20.
Support. Why people be acting like $20 is a whole
Yeah.
lot, except for when they go to the store. If
To
you
get
could
some
just
weed,
throw
yeah.
20 or get some weed, you could throw 20 away at Ralph's. You can't pay 20 to see
Well,
the
nigga,
homies.
that ain't throwing it away. That's eating. This nigga said throw it away.
But it be garbage
Oh,
food,
shit.
though. The food
Man,
be
get
garbage.
you some spaghetti and
That nigga
for
said
$20 you
throwing
can
it away
get
at Ralph's.
$20 you can do a lot of
shit.
things, man. Hey, listen, our phone number real quick, Toby.
818-335-2065. 818-335-2065.
Hey, go to iTunes, subscribe to us, rate us, spread the word. Military,
Dope
we love
Dealer
you guys. We
Podcast.
out.